Okay, this is a demonstration of a project I'm doing with Adobe. Okay, let's have to click the right place here. Yeah, okay, yeah. My name is Bjørn Smalbro. And I have a small company called FrameMaker.dk. I'm a graphic designer and a Dane. I'm self-employed and have been so since 1993. And I've been working with Adobe FrameMaker since 1995. I do all sorts of graphic design projects, but I do mostly specialize in technical documentation. And also I sell tequila on the internet through tequila.dk. I'm here because I want to show and share my new project, which I'm doing in collaboration with Adobe. It's about developing new templates for Adobe FrameMaker. The templates are going to be shipped with new iterations of FrameMaker. So what is FrameMaker? Some of you will probably know, some will, I already heard, some of you are working with FrameMaker on a daily basis, and some of you probably don't know FrameMaker. FrameMaker is a high-end piece of desktop publishing software. Function-wise, it's a cross between Microsoft Word and InDesign. It's a high-end text processor with some desktop publishing facilities. It comes with a dual interface, allowing the users to work in unstructured mode and structured mode. If you're working in structured mode, it is mostly in data XML, or it was mostly in former years in HTML. FrameMaker is part of the Adobe Technical Communication Suite, which also holds Adobe RoboHelp, Captivate, Acrobat, and Adobe Presenter. These are some typical FrameMaker products. These are industrial products. We can see there's a BK Medical ultrasound user guide. There's a Kia Sorento user guide for a small car. It's a very big manual for a small car, I can tell you that. And there's also an issue of an Alfa Laval hot water loop, an instrument made for ships. These are a typical frame products, technical documentation with long manuals with lots of figures and numbered headings and cross references, etc. So the background for my part of this, the template project, the template, it's born out of an arrangement called Nordic Adobe TechCom Day, which is a yearly marketing information event which Adobe has held in Copenhagen, and I have been part of the organizing team about it. It was cancelled last year due to Corona, and maybe it's also cancelled this year, I don't know. So Adobe reached out to the beta testing group, which I'm also part of. The beta testing group is the group which takes part in providing feedback, development, bug reporting, etc. And we were also asked to come with some suggestions for alternative marketing events or marketing ideas. And I brought up the suggestion that perhaps we should try to invigorate the template content which is being shipped along with FrameMaker. Adobe thought it was a good idea, and eventually we ended up with a contract for me about creating two new templates. These are some of the current templates. Adobe ships with a small amount of templates, and they were developed and created in 1995, and that's the reason why we have a template for a memo. We also have a template for a fax. We have this small assembly and instruction piece, and we have a generic user guide, and that's about what we have there. There's a number of templates, but very few actually. That's forms part of the background for the background landscape for my ideas. FrameMaker has a steep learning curve. It's a big piece of software, and it can take a long time to get into grips with it. And for new users, it can be confusing, even disturbing to work with an interface which is quirky and doesn't quite look like all the other Adobe products. So I wanted to create something which was inspirational and easy to access and easy to use. And also I wanted to make something which was a little exciting for existing users, because we also need to take care of existing users and give them something new all the time, some new stuff, some new toys, which will keep them engaged and keep them believing that their software isn't dying on them, or they are left on a blind track in the big roadmaps of software. I took my inspiration from the manner in which commercial templates are being sold on online markets like Envato or Adobe Stock, or for instance InDesign Skills. And this is InDesignSkills.com. If you're looking for a new template to spice up your InDesign work, you can go to one of these markets and find some pre-made templates. This is one of them, and look how neatly it has been displayed. There are some samples of how the pages may look like. We can see big examples, small examples. We can get info on the dimensions and the publishing info, and we can even get source files when we download the entire thing or buy the thing. So we are able to recreate and redesign this template. I think that's a great idea, and I have made use of pre-made templates a lot of times. If we take a look at how FrameMaker's templates are being marketed. So this is the FrameMaker template chooser, and it is designed in 1995, and it does look a little like 1995, at least to my thinking. And I have asked whether we might be able to make it a little more modern, but I believe that's put on hold for now, at least. So I made myself 4 design goals. I wanted to make something which was very colorful. I wanted something very simple and very easy to use for new users, to make it easy for new users to get into the game. And I wanted European page sizes, because it's an overlooked thing in FrameMaker, where all the page sizes are letter or something other. Foreign stuff. And I was also hoping for an integration in FrameMaker's welcome screen. And I believe that's the part which is not going to happen, but it was in the hopes. So these are the projects. I have designed 2 templates for FrameMaker 2020. There's a Scandinavia template and an India template, and it comes in A5 and A4. I have worked around color scales because I wanted, that's a primary thing for me. I wanted lots of colors. And also I wanted something which was a little, perhaps a little quirky. So I have written some Spoof manuals, a manual, a user guide for a Scandinavian ship, a Viking ship, and a user guide for a perpetual energy generator, which is a nice thing to have, I can tell you that. So this is what they look like, and Now I'm going into a little more details on how it's done, how I've gone to the task. This is the table of contents for the Scandinavia user guide, and if we take a look at it, we can see how it's organized. I have in the bottom. In the bottom corner down here, I have shown FrameMaker's book panel. FrameMaker organizes the files for a book in a book panel, and so all the files in the book reside here in the panel, and you can see there's a front page, and we have a table of content, and we have a main chapter, and then we have some list of figures and list of tables and list of references and an index, and then comes the next chapter, which is a German version of the manual. So if we take a look at the table of content, we can see I have made a unified table of content which holds all languages, but each language has its own table of content as well. So this is the English manual, and here comes the German manual. Also, I have wanted to give it a little extra detail. So that's why I've also inserted some decorative elements like this. Here's a sand pattern which I've put in on the master pages. So when we are working with text, like we are doing in a big manual, I always think about the text as a sort of a big road ahead of you, and that's the text, that's the main text, and then we can put in some markers in that text flow, like headings, which can help us organize the text. So what is more important and what is less important, and cross references takes us out of the text into another text, or perhaps into another place in our text. We can use tables to hold clumps of information within the text flow, numberings to display some sort of progression in an explanation, footnotes for little teeny weeny bits of information which we need to remember, and of course figures and iconography. So the text is a sort of a river of information which we can apply some design to. So and that's what I'm doing. I'm working with graphic design, and so what I'm doing is I'm applying typographic structure markers, so to speak. I'm applying typography and graphics and colors and sizes and stuff to the flow of information, and while doing so, I'm trying to use my typographic skills to make it easy to navigate in the document. So I've put some thinking in how I wanted the text to look like. So as we can see, there's a title tag here, which I've put some nice green background on. The color scale for the Scandinavian ship user guide is it's green, douche green colors and douche blue colors, and then a little golden and brown put all together, which forms sort of the archetypal Scandinavian landscape with some sea and some fields, and yeah, well, it's a poetic thing. And I have one heading level, which is the heading 1, which is numbered. All the rest of the heading levels are unnumbered, and I have merely used typographic markers. Like in heading 2, I put in a square bullet before, and in the heading 3, I've put a line below. And I have done so because working with numbered headings can be difficult for new users. It can be confusing, and sometimes it often gives a false impression of progression in a text, which perhaps doesn't really progress. So that's why I wanted to keep it simple and only have one heading level which was numbered. And if we go back to the table of content, we can see, okay, these are these are heading ones, all of them. So that means I can have a lot of text, but only a few heading ones, which keeps navigation simple. Also, I like big icons in color, also in color, and so I put these to good use here. They're easy to spot and pleasant to look at. Another thing is I need to have some imagery regarding warnings and danger signs, etc. So I have used small drawings, actual drawings, not something computer generated, but drawings which gives a little handmade touch to the signs. Also something which you don't really encounter in most technical documentation, and it's kind of a pity. It's because I think it adds a little bit of humanity to what you're looking at and what you're reading. In the footnote section here, down here, I've used a big fat line above the footnote, also in color, because it separates the footnote quite distinctly, so it's easy to see, and it makes navigation easier. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here. Yeah. We'll have to some of the illustrations have bubble numbers, so I have made some designs for bubble numbers, as we can see, numbered bubble text. These are styles, paragraph styles, but the numbers aren't made using a font. They're made using graphics. I have linked in graphics to each of the paragraph tags with a graphic for 1, 2, 3, etc. And I've done so because the text is supposed to be single source published. So at the end of the day, I may make an HTML5 version of this document, and numbered fonts tend to give some problems when you're converting to HTML. So that's why I went for safe and made graphics for the bubble texts. Also, of course, there's a numbered style for making a progressive explanation of something or other. The type chosen is Arial Narrow, and Times New Roman, which are rock-solid choices for technical documentation, which often needs to be translated into a big number of languages, and Arial and Times New Roman will cover most of the languages. So tables, again, I've gone for quite heavy lines, also in colors, to make the table stand out and become a sort of block of information in the text flow, to give it an almost image-like character with a big heavy starting line and a big heavy finishing line. And below that finishing line, we have inserted a table footnote also. So these are generated lists.
Sorry, if I can jump in and
sure.
interrupt a second. We've had a question come through. Sue's asking, do you include your graphics, for example, your bubble numbering, in reference pages?
I'm not putting them on reference pages, but they are linked in. So when the template is being delivered, it will reside in a directory on your local computer with all the source files, so you can edit and make the new numbers. They will hopefully include the source files in Adobe Illustrator, so you can create more numbers if you need that. I suppose that's the gist of your question, or perhaps not.
Well, Sue can always come back into chat if she wants to ask any more, as can anyone else, but I will let you carry back on from where you were.
Okay. Yeah, well, these are generated lists, and there's an index, there's a list of references, list of figures, and a list of tables. Adobe was very keen on having these generated lists, especially the list of references, list of figures, and list of tables. So that's what we have done. We have made it in the same design as the index. The index is a multi-level index with 2 levels right now, and it's, yeah, we can see it here. It's oh, sorry. And it has the same design. Look and feel like the rest. I use a heavy underline between under the main characters A, B, C, etc. So when the template has been created, it's supposed to work in multiple ways. It's supposed to work as a PDF and print, and that is accomplished using a settings file. FrameMaker has a settings file called an STS file, which can be accessed through a publishing panel. A publish panel it's called, and from that publish panel you can publish to PDF and responsive HTML5, mobile apps, EPUB, Kindle, etc., Microsoft HTML help. It's relatively easy if you understand HTML and CSS and understand how e-publications work. Otherwise, it can be a bit of a hassle. And that is one of the main obstacles when you are developing templates for a thing like FrameMaker. It's that you have to know such a lot of different things. You have to know how the FrameMaker interface and FrameMaker settings works, but you also have to know how HTML works and how XML works, and how displaying on different kinds of mobile devices work, and how EPUB files are going into the Kindle, etc. There's just a lot of different words which has to come together in a single piece of information like a template. And that's an obstacle for me as well. I don't know everything, unfortunately. but this is how the PDF output looks. You see, I have put markers on it for cutting of the paper and printing, etc. And below in the corner here, there's an HTML5 version of the Scandinavian ship template. And as we can see, it doesn't look altogether neat, but it's sort of working. One of the problems is working in the PDF version of the template, so to speak. I am working with tabulators, or tab settings, and tab settings doesn't convert very well into HTML because there are no tabs in HTML. But you get a lot of other functionality in HTML. For instance, being able to do a search, or being able to work with index words and glossaries, and you can search for information, and you can get this this table of content. Yeah, I'll skip right on to the India template. which looks a little different. I went for an Indian color scheme, working with the India template. It's some warm colors and some very bright colors. It's an A4 user manual, and the structure of this user manual, this template, is a little bit different than the Scandinavian, because I've put the table of content on the front page along with the other front page stuff, and that's a common thing in a lot of small user manuals or instruction manuals. For instance, if you buy an electric screwdriver or some other little tool, often the manuals often the producers have wanted to save paper and put the table of content on the front page. Practical and quite easy to work with, actually. So I've done that in my template also, and if we take a look at how it's organized in FrameMaker, we can see the table of content has become the front page, and with the main chapter here, and then the generated files, the index, the list of figures, and the list of references. So this is supposed to be this is a spoof manual of a perpetual energy generator inspired by an Indian inventor from 1150, who has made this very practical and useful invention for generating perpetual energy, something we would all like to have, I believe. So the design is a little different, but also a little bit over the top with design elements. I have put in this Indian-inspired wheel design here in the top, with nice curves and colors, and also the language code has been set on a background of the Indian color scheme. I don't know for sure whether these are typical Indian colors. India is a very big country, but they look Indian to me. The type is Lotus Song and Nirmala UI Similite. I've taken the fonts from Microsoft's website. Microsoft has a section on their website detailing which fonts comes along with Windows 10 and what character sets the individual fonts support. And the Nirmala font supports Hindi. Hindi is an Indian language, so I wanted to support Hindi, and also it's kind of a nice font. It's a lightweight font and elegant too. Also, same is Lotus Song, which is used for the for the headings. Again, I've used very bright colors to indicate heading levels and very little numbering. See here are some of the pages. I've used mostly this design has been made with a wide space on the left of the page, and I'm using that space to indicate levels. So the safety instruction is a heading 2, and the dimension and colors is heading 3. And I believe that's an easy way to navigate levels in a document without using numbers. Again, I'm using very big graphics for these hazard levels because, yeah, well, I like to be able to see important information immediately. They take up more space, but it looks neat. The tables in the table designs, I've gone with some of the same characteristica from the Scandinavian template. I'm using colors for shadings, and also a big fat line above and below the table to make it stand out. The Indian template is supposed to work as HTML5 and PDF as well. And I've made some prints here showing the desktop version. This here to the right, we have the desktop version of a manual published as HTML5 from FrameMaker. And in the corner below here, we have the mobile version of the same manual. It's FrameMaker is using responsive designs for generating these HTML5 versions of the manual, and this is the mobile version. As we can see, the main navigation pops up down here in the bottom, where you can click and get access to the table of contents or access to the index, or you can do a search for certain information. So I'm going to finish showing how these templates are supposed to be incorporated in FrameMaker's user interface. FrameMaker comes with a welcome screen, which I can hopefully find here. Yeah, okay. When you open FrameMaker, this is the welcome screen, and it's essentially a browser. In the right side of the welcome screen, we have access to webinars, white papers, demo videos, blogs, and Adobe partners. I'm one of them. If you click here, you will be led to a website showing Adobe FrameMaker partners, which are companies specializing in working with Adobe FrameMaker. Also, you can create new documents from the welcome screen, and if you want to create a new document based on one of my templates, we are going to have two options. We can click on the standard templates, and we gain access to this 1995 template browser, and unfortunately it's locked. I am not able to make my templates part of the standard template browser. Hopefully it's going to be fixed at some time, but not right now. Not right now, I believe. But otherwise, you can click on the new file from templates, and then you are led to a directory on your local hard drive where there's a bunch of templates, and among them two of my templates, in this case the Scandinavia templates. So we can browse and we can create a new a blank document based on the Scandinavia template like this, and start inserting information. Also, we can we can browse, and I have made a small mock-up file like this, which I can open like this, and okay, it's here, where you can get a preview of the template filled out with some information. Also, there's a folder in the template folder with a sample document. So if you can navigate to the Scandinavian sample document, and you can open the entire book file here and see how it's made, and you can perhaps just write over the sample information.
Okay, thank you very much, Bjørn. So obviously the podcast is out. Always a shout out for our lovely podcast. And next month we have Chris Hester, who's going to be talking to us about governance. And obviously you can find out more about that on the TCUK website.